Hey guys, we're actually testing the injectors. Apologies, I didn't even pick up the camera, I should have. But let me show you where we're at right now. So we're in the engine bay, right? This is what I mean, I'm really sorry. Forgot to get the camera out. We've taken our breather hose off, we've taken that intake pipe off, a couple of bolts down here, and injector rail out. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the plugs. These send electric to the injectors, basically saying go, 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 fire, 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 putting fuel into the engine and obviously making the combustion happen. Obviously you need air, you need fuel, you need spark. We've tested the spark, we know we got spark, and I'm pretty sure that this is timed up correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a couple of cans and we're going to put the injectors over the top of the cans, crank the engine, and then see if they're all evenly distributing the correct amount of fuel. So that is what we're going to do now. Hey guys, I actually found this like holds cans on the side of my toolbox, but I took it off. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug these pigtails back in. I call them pigtails. I think a lot of people call them pigtails. Then we're going to put these over the top of these pots, and then we're going to turn the ignition, and you'll see hopefully fuel and an even amount go into each cup. So now you can see we've got that cup sort of set up here. All the injectors are in here. These do shoot out with some force, so you kind of want them about there, but the engine's going to shake, so it might fall off, it might not. Don't really know until we try, so let's try it. You can actually get these sent off for testing. There's a proper machine for it where they'll put them in the machine and they'll do something called testing the flow rate of the injectors, and that is basically when they put them in this machine and consistently spray fuel through the machine to make sure they're all outputting the same amount of fuel. I think it's like per minute or per second, I'm not really sure, but that is an option. But if you're either strapped for cash or you need a quick option to see if you're getting fuel or not, which is what I'm doing today, I need to know if I'm getting fuel or if I'm not getting fuel. This is a cheap alternative of doing so. Ideally you'd want some bottles, like 500ml bottles to put the injectors down into, but I'm working with what I've got in my van, so let's try this and see if we're getting fuel. So as you just saw, we cranked the engine for maybe 5 to 10 seconds. So we check down in here now, we'll see that we have fuel in each cup. And I'm no genius at measurements, but if you ask me, that all looks like the same amount of fuel. So therefore we're getting fuel, so we need to look elsewhere into our starting issue. So guys, it's a new day. You can see me here. It's raining, which is not ideal, but we need to get some stuff done on this Golf. So we tested the injectors, you've just seen that. Excuse if this video seems a little bit all over the place, but it's been filmed across multiple days because the weather this week has been horrible. So we've tested the injectors. We know we have spark, but we're going to do another spark test and we're going to do a compression test because I'm not entirely sure on the condition of this engine. We've timed the Dizzy as best as possible, so I'll give you a little explanation on how that works. But for now, we're going to get these plugs out. We're going to take the fuel relay out, so no more fuel will get to these injectors, and we're going to do a dry compression test. So to do the compression test, we're going to be taking out all of our spark plugs here. We got cylinder 1, 2, 3 and 4, but before we get into that, I think I should explain to you what this is. This, commonly known as a dizzy cap, whatever it's known by different things to different people. It's your distribution cap. So this supplies spark or electric to your spark plugs so they can spark. Ignore that, I took that off for the fuel testing yesterday. So yeah, there's something in here that spins round and provides spark for each of these plugs. So let me take that off and I can give you a little explanation of what happens in here. So this gets spark. So this cap held in by these two little clamps here literally just pulls off like that. And if you look in here, you can see you have 4 electrical contact points, and they've all got small little marks on them, which is good. You should see little marks. So basically, this thing here is called your rotor arm or rotary arm. Again, some different people might know it by different names. When your engine's spinning round and round, this spins clockwise like this, hitting each one of those little metal pieces inside the cap, therefore sending electric through your lead all the way down to the top of your spark plug, creating that spark on the end of the spark plug, which ignites the fuel, you know, in time. That's why this has got to sit in time with everything else. So as far as I'm aware, to time this up, you've got to put your engine at, so cylinder 1 is at top dead center. There's a timing mark in there. It's not currently aligned, but you can see a timing mark in there, and there's a timing mark on here as well. That sits at the top of the block, and then this should point towards cylinder number 1, which in turn is this plug here. So when that hits, let's go back, this notch in there, it creates the electric. So that is how the distribution cap works. So I've borrowed this off of a buddy of mine at a garage near where I work. This is a compression tester. So this tube here will screw down, won't focus, will screw down into where your spark plug goes. You'll crank the engine a few times, and then once it's connected to this gauge, it will tell you how much compression you have. So let's get the spark plug out. I need to get a jump hook on the battery because I accidentally left my ignition on all night, and then we'll see what the compression is reading across all 4 cylinders, and then ultimately we'll know whether this engine is any good or not. So guys, you can see here we're taking out the coil lead and the spark plug so we can put in the compression tester. Basically all it is you've seen this before, you take out your spark plug, and then you can see in a minute I'll show you the condition of the spark plug that come out, which actually wasn't too bad. And in its place you take that tube and just quite simply thread it in there, and then put the gauge on the end of it, and then you're ready to do your compression test. So guys, I've just taken the fuel pump relay out, so no fuel from the, so basically the fuel pump now will not work. There will not any power go to that fuel pump. Just got a jump starter. Like I said, I left the ignition on all night by mistake because I'm an idiot. We have got our compression tester in place down here, and what we're going to do is we're going to crank it over probably like 3 or 4 or 5 times, and then we're going to have a look at what number comes out of this. So this is kind of the make or break moment here. Let's see what we end up with. So guys, as you can see from that little clip, that's how you do a compression test. You take that out, you put these in, and you just crank it over for a few seconds until it hits a mark, and it stops sort of bouncing around. That's what you know your compression is for that cylinder. As you can see, we're just moving on to cylinder number 2. I'm going to get all these done, and then we'll have a look at the figures afterwards, and I'll catch up to you once we get to that point. So guys, we've just done the compression test on all 4 cylinders, starting at number 1, moving all the way across to number 4, as you've just seen. I've taken photos of each cylinder pressure. It's time for me to just do a little bit of research in comparison to what other people have reported that they've got before, and I'm going to sit down and do that now, and as soon as I've done that, we'll be back to talk about the figures. So guys, here's the moment of truth. I'll put some pictures on the screen, but cylinder 1, we got 75 psi of pressure, which we're down on compression, and it follows suit. Cylinder number 2, I believe we had 70. Cylinder number 3, we had just under 70, and then cylinder number 4, we jumped back up to 70 psi. So basically the engine has dropped compression. Where, why, how, who, I don't know. Is that the reason it's solely not starting? Most likely. The engine's in time, the dizzy's in time. The only other we've got fuel, we've got air, we've got spark, but there's no compression or very little compression. I half expected it to at least splutter, but we're not even getting that. So the engine on this car is done, unfortunately. So we got sort of three real options here. We go and buy another GTI engine 2-litre 8-valve and we put it straight in. Number two, we rebuild the engine. We take the head off, we'll take the rocker cover gasket, we'll take the rocker cover off, we'll take the head off, and we can rebuild it. Or number three, we put a completely different engine in it, maybe the 1.8 turbo, maybe the 3.2 V6, and we go from there. It's a shame really, because I've just bought a new fuel tank for it, because I did think it was fuel, but then I did the fuel test and this is where we're at now. So let's just take a minute just to sort of catch up on what's going on here. So there we have it. I've been scammed. Wow, I say I've been scammed. So when I bought the car, he said, so I got a bit muddled up here. I told the story wrong. So basically he told me it did run and drive, but it ran out of fuel, cut out, and then never started again, and blamed it on an injector. Not being funny, all I've done is crank it over. That's not going to make it lose compression. I've only had the car 2 weeks. I've not driven it once. I've not even heard it running. So it was a risk of buying it anyway. But we move. So now basically need to make a decision. Do I start tearing this down, trying to find out why it's not any compression? Bearing in mind it could be the piston rings, it could be something as simple as the head gasket, or the head hasn't been skimmed when it was rebuilt, because I was told that the engine was rebuilt. So basically, for those who don't know, when you take the head off, you should get it professionally skimmed, which takes like a layer of the, in this case, aluminium off the head to make it a nice flat level surface. So when you put the gasket between it and clamp it down, it seals correctly. So either that hasn't been done, or the rings on the pistons are worn, so it's not compressing properly. Either that, and another option is maybe the valves have gone funny on it as well. Maybe the valves are bent. Did it skip time in one time and that's why it's been rebuilt? I don't know. I can't give any answers, but let me know down in the comments what you think I should be doing next. Should I rebuild this engine? Should I find another one of the exact same engine and put it in? Or three, should I buy like a donor car and then put a different engine in it, full stop? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Right guys, I'm making an impulse decision and we're going to tear this head off right now. Got flour in my hair. We're going to tear this head off right now to have a look at the condition of the cylinder bores, the head, and what else? The valves. So let me pop you up. Let's do a little bit of a time lapse of me taking this engine apart. So guys, we start here, and basically I shouldn't be doing it, but I'm turning it by the cam sprocket rather than the crankshaft, but I'm just trying to line the timing marks up. So you see me looking down the hole in the gearbox for the flywheel and looking to the cam sprocket to line it all up. And now after that, I'm just taking off some miscellaneous stuff around the engine bay, like vacuum lines, the fuel return line and the fuel feed line. Anything that's basically connected to the head needs to come off. So that's what I'm working on now, and I take the rocker cover off as well. I use a gun because I'm just a little bit lazy and I couldn't be bothered to do them all by hand. Plus I'm undoing it and it wasn't going to break anything, so I didn't see the harm. So that's what's going on with this bit, and then you'll see as we go forward the engine will become more and more bare as we go. So guys, we have just got the rocker cover gasket or valve cover, whatever you would like to call it, off. I thought I would stop, give you a little update of where we're at and give you an idea of how the engine works. If this isn't your sort of game, you might not understand what's going on here. So here, this is called your camshaft. These are cam lobes. You can see ours are in fairly good condition with not much scoring on it. Obviously you've got to bear in mind this car is 1991, so it is 30 something years old now. We just pulled the gasket off, you saw that in the video, and now down here you can see these are your head bolts. This is what holds the head to the actual engine itself. So what else do we need to do, you might be thinking? Firstly, these plugs need to come out, your HT leads or core leads, whatever you may call them. Coolant pipe needs to come off because obviously there's coolant channels in the head. There's another coolant pipe here which needs to come off. This sensor can come with it, but again, just need to pull that back and pull that off. The fuel rail will come with it. We do need to do something about that exhaust though, because the exhaust and the inlet are both on the same sides, so we need to drop one of the bolts. As you saw when I first started, I was turning the engine from here. That is not recommended. If you're going to turn the engine over by hand, you should really always do it from the crank bolt. But I just kept slipping on the bolt and I didn't want to risk grounding it, so I did it from the top because this engine is potentially scrap anyway. But you can see here by this timing mark, don't know how well you can see that, we are in time. And down here, you can see that little notch on the gear through the gearbox hole. You can't really see it. There's a little notch on the flywheel which also tells you that we are in time. So that is where we're currently at. We don't need to take the fuel rail off. We don't need to take the injectors out. They can come with it. We just need to figure out what we're doing with the exhaust and take stuff like this off. Again, back to the time lapse. Let's keep cracking on. And this bit is like the final bit. So as you just saw, I took the coolant pipes off. I didn't get to record it, but I took the exhaust bolts out. They were a little bit tricky to get sort of a spanner on there or a socket on there properly. So I just did them, and it was right at the back underneath it, so it's really difficult to film anyway. You've just seen me take off the timing belt to the left. I've literally, because I'm taking the head off, I've not worried too much about it, about locking everything in place, because I can just retime it manually later. So now I'm literally just getting the bolts or the spline pieces. I believe they were M10s, and this is when I started realizing, see, like this one like didn't take too much effort. Like it was like difficult enough, and then like the further I go through, like just the easier they got. It was really weird. So like you hear that one crack, but then again it just got easier. And if you're ever taking a head off, guys, just take a minute to look through some manuals or do some research into the bolt pattern and the way you do them up. And the way that you do them up is like backwards to the way you undo them, and it's basically to try and stop yourself warping the head. So like you notice the bottom right one was nowhere near as tight as that top one, and then that one was like slightly looser than the one before. So all of the head bolts just weren't exactly, I don't believe that they were torqued down properly, which I think might be half the issue. I'm not sure. See, that one didn't even crack. That one was just so loose. And again, this is where I think some of the issues might lie within this engine. So as you just saw there, I've got all the bolts out ready. Still getting all the bolts out, ready to pull the head. There's nothing else attached to this head. It's disconnected at the manifold. The timing belt's off, coolant pipes are off, and any connecting wires are all gone. So I'm just literally trying to get these bolts out just to make my life easier later, and then I'm ready to pull the head. So guys, I messed up here a little bit. So as you saw, I didn't really sort of do a crucial step, and this will make sense in a minute, but I'm taking the head off and wiggling it around. There you go, head's popped out of place. And I get it out, and the first thing I see, and I think it's at this point that I saw it, and I'm going, oh no. And you can see I've tipped coolant in all of the cylinder head, all the cylinder bores, and I really thought that that was my problem. And this is just me looking at it, contemplating life. But because I didn't drain the coolant properly, when I split the head, all the coolant come out of the channels straight into the bores where the cylinders go. And it's just me looking at it, thinking, oh my god. And that head gasket, I did bend that on the way out, but it's a fairly new head gasket, so I guess the engine has actually been rebuilt. So again, I'm just here contemplating life at this point. So guys, that basically begs the question of what is next. So the engine is in a state, I'm not going to say of disrepair, because we can repair it, but what is more economically worth it? Because we got to remember, the whole point of this is to sell it to earn some money for the next project. So like, I've got to think with my head a little bit here. Do I buy a donor car, 180, or, you know, let's just say 180 as an example. I'm not saying it's going to be a 180. Do we buy an old, you know, MOT failed Mark IV Golf with a 1.8 turbo in it, use that as a donor car, transfer everything across? Do we rebuild the engine, so buy some new internals, buy some new rings, get a new head gasket, get the head skims? Do we do that? Or do we just go on Facebook and have a look for another 2-litre 8-valve engine, take that one out and just put the next one in? That's where we're at the moment. So let me know what you think down in the comments. I've got a bit of thinking to do. I want your guys' recommendations, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. So I just keep looking at the car because I'm just so deep in thought. Don't forget to drop this video a like, really appreciate it when you guys like the video. Don't forget to comment. I love hearing your guys' ideas, thoughts, criticisms, feedbacks. I like it. I like reading all of them. I read every single comment, reply to most of them as well. If you're new here, please subscribe, and to follow on with the journey, don't forget, at the end of this, we will be taking this to Germany. So fingers crossed that I can sort this out nice enough to take this out of the country. Yeah, if you want to follow on the journey, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next video.